tend to approach it.
Thank you so much. Aisha, the rest of the ladies on this panel, they had time to build relationships with their subjects. Archana has known the subjects of a film about love for her entire life. You were not allowed to meet your subject of the movie Indian Predator, The Butcher of Delhi. How easy or difficult was it to make a film about a perpetrated psychopath or a serial killer or whatever you would like to call him, a mastermind, when you did not have any access to him at all? And what additional responsibilities did you have to bear in doing something like that?
Um, you know, the I think the main challenge is that what ends up happening with a story like this is that you are relying on uh, other people's accounts of this character, right? Um, uh, and memory is such a fickle thing, you know. What was I doing last week, this day? I don't know, you know. What is my version of my childhood is very different from my sister's version of the same childhood that we had shared. So I feel like this was one of the most interesting sort of negotiations that we had to make while we were building this story was, how much do we rely on myth that has now been made over years? How much do we rely on it as truth, you know? And here a lot of stuff like this actually played. For example, there was one moment where, I don't want to give away too much, but like there's a whole moment where we go back to his village, and you know, there's this idea of like, how does he become this person that he became? Almost all the villagers wanted to cast aspersion or blame on his mother, you know. And that became something very tough for me to confront, because I was like, really, I'm going to say this butcher of Delhi is doing all of this because of his mother? It's like a little bit like based on what, you know? So we had to really probe, really sort of understand everybody's version. And at that moment, genuinely, I became like, everybody is lying. They're all liars. You're not going to believe anything anyone is saying. Let's like really ask, you know. So, and how much are we going to stress on this? And that actually becomes an underlying exploration of the whole story, which is that what makes him who he is. This could be one part of it, right? But what are the other parts of it? So in the fact that we didn't get to hear from him was a huge, I mean, if you want to say, like, I still can't get over the fact that we haven't been able to speak to him, and I still keep hoping that we'll be able to get a, I don't know, you know, coda at the end that we'll be able to speak to him about. But I feel like also in a certain way, the minute you start talking to people about their story, it's very much their story. I think that even if I spoke to him, he will tell me his version of this story. The truth, I don't know how we arrive at that, you know, like that takes I think it takes a lot. And, you know, like, I mean, I don't know if you've seen the whole thing, but there's this moment, I mean, like, it's a very male focused story, right? Like, I'm only talking to a lot of men. It's about men, he kills men, it's all men. And it's interesting because I think maybe like the way my frame or how I present myself or whatever it is, a lot of the men are teaching me as we're going along in this story. Okay, aap samajhte ho ki nahi, pata nahi, they say, and I keep it. A lot of the guys that the cops are like explaining, you know. So I found it very interesting because I'm like, right, okay, so this this is interesting that you coaching me in how I should understand this, you know. And they come at it from different perspectives. A lot of them are contradicting each other in the coaching also of what they're saying. So um, I think it was really tough to build a story without a central character that you can speak to. But I ultimately feel like he would have also presented to me his story.